Thank you, Alex. It's time for the chairman's report. This will be my last chairman's report at a standard meeting of our board. We may have a special meeting or two between now and the end of my term, but this will be the last of the chair's report. At the end of June, I will have served as your chairman for almost 3 years. It has been an eventful time for me and for this board. It has also been a time of consistent progress, a time that we should feel good about as a board, and a time in which we've grown to meet our state's expanded expectations of our job and our duties. We are a new board for a new era. We knew we had to change from the board we were a decade ago, and we have done so. We installed a new president and have supported her through her first 2 years as CEO of the University of North Carolina system. She has exceeded expectations and quickly learned the complexities of our board, our university system, and our state. Margaret Spellings is leading the UNC system to a new level of excellence and has gained widespread support throughout our system, state, and nation. Our system's transparency has reached a new level. We've started live streaming and archiving every board meeting for the public to see. We've started public comment sessions at every meeting, formal sessions to complement the informal ones that have popped up from time to time with signs and megaphones. We kept a busy schedule touring our institutions and affiliates, seeing the good work that's happening and learning about how our policy affects it. Together with President Spellings, we unanimously adopted a 5-year strategic plan, Higher Expectations, a plan that now has strong agreements outlining exactly how each institution will do their part and meet their own ambitious goals. And as Margaret said earlier, we put all that data up on dashboards to be updated each year to show how we're doing. When I think about it, I see this plan as a major accomplishment. It's easy to write words on paper, but it's much harder to make those words mean something and to make them change the way people act. And this plan is doing just that, and doing it in ways that I know this board and this state care about, getting more students into and through college with the skills they need, but with less debt. Affordability has been a major priority for so many of you and for me. These past 2 years, we've frozen tuition for students who stay on track. We've kept tuition increases low, and this year, 0 for in-state students. And in just a few short months, NC Promise will be a reality and a major game changer for our university and for the state. That work is possible because this board has made restoring trust and confidence in our university system priority one. And the legislature has acknowledged that by passing the strongest UNC system budget in a decade. I've been in North Carolina for a long time, and I know that this state values higher education. So when we show that we will be good stewards of taxpayer dollars and that we will focus on making each dollar go further to provide a quality education, that means we receive the generous support we need to continue to be a world-class system of public higher education. We've shown that stewardship by hiring the best leaders to get the job done. During the past 2.5 years, this board has hired 5 chancellors, with 2 more searches underway. We've eliminated reporting requirements and cut red tape while making sure oversight and accountability remain strong. We've made good progress on revisiting our funding model, a difficult issue that cannot be resolved in a few months. But through consistently getting our stakeholders to come together, we can agree on a common ground and develop a model which will work for all of our diverse institutions and for our state. During my years in North Carolina, higher education has always been a part of my life. And when I joined the Board of Governors, it was clear that the playbook of the past wasn't going to work anymore, that the state needed a university system that was thinking smarter about how it can serve the state's future. The difficulty, of course, is how to achieve that change and meet our responsibilities to guide this university system while not going too far, micromanaging our leaders and becoming a management entity instead of a policy and oversight entity. I consider it an honor to have led this board as it navigated that dilemma, and I think we've come out stronger because of our discussions and debates. And through all these 2.5 years as board chairman, through all of the policy discussions and debates, board tours and board meetings, during that period of time, we've served nearly 400,000 students. We've awarded more than 140,000 degrees and welcomed 170,000 new students to our institutions. So I want to say thank you for serving with me on this board and serving those students and this state. And I also want to say thank you to the leaders of all of our institutions who make it happen. It's been a pleasure to serve with you. I also want to thank our new officers for volunteering to lead this board. I've worked closely with all of them and know that they are dedicated to this system and its students. I leave them with 3 pieces of advice that I've always tried to keep in the forefront of my mind when dealing with the issues we face as a university. Number 1, remember this. Despite our warts, I believe the UNC system is the finest system of public higher. I'm sorry. Excuse me a minute. Betty, give me a smile. I've never done this. I've still got more advice. Thank you. I'm really sorry. This didn't happen to me. I don't know. We are the finest system of public higher education in the United States. We need to remember that. We're not chopped liver, you know. And I think we are the finest system because of the diversity and uniqueness of the missions of our individual institutions and the dedication of our leadership, faculty, and staff members. Remember, and this has been said already today, and it's one thing I've remembered since I started this job, is that in our system, one size cannot fit all. And in whatever we do, we need to keep that in mind. Finally, remember that you are dealing with a system that is loved and revered by the people of North Carolina. It is our state's most important treasure, one that has in some way touched the lives of every North Carolinian. So when striving to bring positive change to our university, be certain to carefully consider all of the ramifications and possible unforeseen consequences of your actions. The people of North Carolina will be carefully watching as we work together to make the University of North Carolina even better. I know this system is in good hands, and I look forward to seeing the progress it will continue to make in the years ahead. So thank you. With one final item, I'm going to conclude my report. I have a little gift for incoming Chairman Smith. Now, Harry, I don't want you to use this except in extreme circumstances.
Can you give it to me now?
Well, yeah. Now, and I'll give you some examples of that. For like, you know, when you've got 15 new university construction projects on the agenda and Marty revs up. You know? That's one instance. Another instance is when Joe Knotts gets in the sermon mode. You know? And finally, when Steve Long starts reading from the works of Margaret Thatcher. So I've got this for you, Harry. It's the Robert's Rules of Order, which I hope will be very helpful to you. Thank you.
Okay, before we go into closed session, I'm happy to say Margaret finally has given the vice chair something to do. I've been excited to keep notes for Lou, but she finally calls me off the bench. So I'd like to make a few remarks. Mr. Chair, I have a motion to make. Before we go to closed session, members, in your folders is a resolution honoring Chairman Bissette. They got me scripted here, so I hand you this now. Lou has finished in 2.5 years of service as chair, having served 7 years on this board. And that's a long time for those who've been on here a while. Lucky for us, he isn't going anywhere. He's going to remain on the board and continue to serve the citizens and the students of North Carolina. I've learned a lot from Lou since I've joined the Board of Governors, and it's an honor to present him with this resolution recognizing his leadership. For those at Margaret's last night, I made the comment that, you know, on my journey in life, I couldn't have had a better mentor. And Lou has been spent a lot more time with me than he wanted to. And as I gave the example one night, I was debating with him, and he said, "Harry, shut up and listen to me. I've been doing this a long time." And he was right. I started eloquently referring to my wife as lessons by Lou. So, Lou is a true statesman who has dedicated his career to public service. Lou is a true professional that's clear, whether you've known him for years or whether you have a 5-minute conversation with him. And I'll inject a little color here and tell you, it's not the easiest thing to manage the 27 people in this room. As I tell people I know, this room is comprised of some of the most successful people in the state, all of which are used to being in charge. So I think Lou's navigation has shown his expertise there. Lou's led this board through a successful strategic planning process, and his approach is one of honesty, integrity, and thoughtfulness. So please join me in commending Lou for his good work, distinguished leadership of this board, and our state as we present this BOG resolution honoring Lou Bissette. On behalf of the board, I recommend that we adopt this resolution and thank Chairman Bissette for his service.
I second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye. I'm not going to ask for a vote.
Quick presentation. This is an engraved gavel that you might want to hang on to in case you ever need to give it a whack. I also want to recognize Sarah Bissette in the back of the room, who's been a great support and observer of this board.
Thank you all very much. That was wonderful. I appreciate it. But now it's back to work.